Man, oh man. In a few days, probably like in about 2 weeks, Joey Coco Diaz says he's going to end the podcast of the church, What's Happening Now, which they've done over 800 episodes. They've been doing it 2 times a week for the last like 90 years. And that's a sad thing, because I look forward to that podcast more than any podcast on the planet, because I always like the fact that when Joey Diaz shoots the shit and says his like crazy stories and does motivate people and does say some motivating things, he's like the most entertaining dude. But he also says he is a 57-year-old man who's moving to New Jersey to basically get out of the Hollywood lifestyle and basically get into a normal life and not be a Hollywood kind of lifestyle anymore. And he's going to be here with his kids and wants to take care of his kid and raise her in a normal environment and not in like the nanny vibe. And the nanny vibe is where basically a lot of these celebrities call up these nannies, and these nannies come along and pick up their kids and take them to the park or take them to the beach or take them to wherever, and it's not them doing it, it's just nanny life. And Joey's like, hey, I'm sick and tired of this lifestyle. He goes, California is getting really bad. He's all, you can't just keep locking down California for months on end, preventing him from doing his job, because his job is technically, yes, he makes money off podcasting, but his main job is standing on a stage somewhere talking about jokes, telling jokes and telling stories. And if he can't do that, he says he needs to be in an environment that can allow him to do that. And like I said, Lee is supposed to be going to Milwaukee. I guess he said he's going to be going to Milwaukee for a month. Then he's going to be going to Boston and Florida. So he's going to be somewhere in Boston and then somewhere in Florida. But I'll say this, guys. Lee Syed is a producer type, right? And he can build his own podcast, but I don't know if people would want to podcast by him, but I think because of the power of the internet, you can make a podcast anywhere and make it successful. But Joey Diaz is saying, I'm going to urban life. I'm going to the urban lifestyle, man. I'm not going to a city or a place that I'm not familiar with. I'm going back home to like North Bergen, New Jersey, where I grew up. I know the people. I know the local deli. And he goes, in Los Angeles, California, you don't really have that. This is local deli. This is local, like, Bob's Burger Shop. You don't really have that because it's so commercialized, and so many people from so many places come to Los Angeles, which I've been to Los Angeles, and I'll tell you, it's so crazy. You have, like, 16 million people or 8 million people there. Like, I went there back in 2011, and I'll tell you, man, there was so much traffic. It wasn't even funny. Yeah, man, like I said, we're going to play some Joey Diaz little rants and some of my favorite things that I think he's talked about.
We would mug these fucking pedophiles and shit up in North Jersey. So.
You were mugging pedophiles.
Mugging fags, whatever the fuck.
That's justice.
No, these guys
Pedophiles.
were like guys that were drinking in the city and they get drunk and they wanted a guy to suck their dick. So they take the fucking West Side Highway and come over to northern New Jersey, and we'd hang out by a park, and we had a dude who looked kind of handsome. We'd take his shirt off, and he'd be the bait, and we'd wait by a fucking tree, you know what I'm saying?
What would he do before a car? Would he just be like...
He would just be standing on the corner whistling. And the car would pull up, and then he'd do a U-turn, and then he'd do another turn, and on that one he'd look at you like... And you look back, and all of a sudden he'd pull up and go, excuse me, do you know how to get to 48-8, 29th Street? And the guy's like, no, you're on fucking 200th Street. You're far away. Are you looking for a ride? Are you lost? And all of a sudden it would be, I saw this at 17, 16.
So what, then you guys are running up on the dude in the car?
No, then my buddy would go, so what do you want to do? What do you want to do? I don't know, pull a car over, let's talk about it. And the guy would get out of the car because your fucking thing is weak. Here you are. This guy's like 25, 26. He's probably married, got a kid. They get out of the car, and they would come up to my friend, and my friend would walk with them. And I never climbed one of the trees. I'm never a tree climber. I'd hide behind a tree and shit. And he'd take him under the tree where my buddy would be up there like fucking Rambo trying not to fall off the tree. And all of a sudden my friend would go, you want me to suck your dick? Yeah. I'd pull you. Where's the money? And the guy would take the 50 out. And if he had like more cash on him, he'd go take down your pants. The guy would take his dick out. As my friend would put one knee down, he'd come right up and kick the guy in the balls. The guy would drop, and then the guy in the tree would drop on him with a karate chop. And all of a sudden, 8 of us would charge him with bayonets and leaves and fucking...
It's fucking Heinz ketchup.
Or ranch. Have you ever heard him talk about ranch?
Oh, I fucking hate ranch. I don't know how the fuck people could eat that shit. I don't know how people could eat ranch. Like, when I go to a place and I say, you have wings, and they say it comes with ranch, I get up and leave, even if I don't get the wings. Because if you're going to serve wings with ranch, I don't want to do business with you. I don't want to do business with you. I'm very easy. I'm very fucking easy.
So
If you fuck up pork fried rice, what do we got to talk about?
wings must be done with blue cheese?
Blue cheese. Yeah, like the way they invented in Buffalo, New York. If you're going to do something original, do it original. You're going to show up with that ranch that smells like somebody's ass. You ever smell
They're saying
fucking
that
ranch?
ranch is starting to replace ketchup.
Yeah,
now
that's
in a lot
good.
of
If you're a
ways.
fucking hillbilly and you want to taste the ass in your mouth all fucking day. I hate that fucking ranch shit. Don't put it close to me. Don't put it around me. It's either blue cheese with wings or go fuck your mother. That's the next shirt, all right, please. Fucking, you're gonna give me a fucking ranch with fucking wing. I can say
blue cheese with wings, so you can fuck your mother.
go fuck your mother and eat this shit. Fucking gonna give me ranch with my wings.
That's the next shirt. That's the next shirt. It's either blue cheese with wings.
That's how
or
you
can
motherfuckers,
fuck
I'm
your
stoned.
mother.
Fuck it. The fucking hot dog. What is this shit?
You go to 7-Eleven, you get the same
Same
shit.
shit. It's
Go to
not
7-Eleven,
fried.
get better
With
shit.
that- You get better shit with that
Yeah.
Hindu smell to it.
Yeah.
Tremendous. Those Hindus, they're fucking
They got some
beautiful.
curry in
You
there,
get
some
that chicken
chili.
from there. Get a piece of fucking wing from 7-Eleven. That's what nobody's done a video on 7-Eleven chicken.
They're amazing.
Take
Yeah, of
that
course
wing.
they
Oh,
haven't.
You know what they do?
You got to
dog?
break the seal on
You know
this.
what
Go
they
for it.
do? They fucking take chicken like meat that's left over, and they just crazy glue it to a fucking wing. It's like
I know.
pieces of fucking. It looks
Sticky
like a
Pete
fat
works.
bastard.
Sticky,
yeah.
They use it's an edible glue. It's made from like an animal
But
protein or
it's just so
something. It's
weird
disgusting.
How it's very, it's very rare when somebody says to you, I've seen that movie, I really fucking like it. And you're like, and I always ask people just to see if they're trying to go again. There's always idiots in Hollywood that, oh no, I don't lift weights. I hang upside down. Go fuck your mother. All of a sudden they want to be fooling everybody. If you take care of yourself all around, listen, in China they smoke 3 times the amount that we smoke, and the cancer rate is less. We abuse our bodies at every fucking angle here. Cancer is very hereditary. It's very hereditary. And I'm not saying you can't get it if you don't fucking live in Jersey. You'll fucking get it, especially where I grew up, close to those fucking swamps. And it's an odds game. You know what I'm saying? It's like anything else. You go out one night
He's right. He's so right. You know how much people around the world put so much garbage? Probably England too. The UK is probably hardcore like this too. We eat the most crappiest shit on the planet. You know how much crap we eat, these processed foods, we eat these shit that is not good for you, these box dinners that are high in sodium. And today at work, I was talking to this lady. She said she was 200 pounds and she got down to 170, right? And she's 48 years old. That's it. I'm like, okay, that's what, like 30 pounds you lost, baby. And she goes, yeah, the way I did it, I only eat 1 time a day and I only drink water. And I'm like, what? 1 time a day? That's not healthy. You're malnourished. And then she goes, well, you know what? I'm going to go vegan, and vegan is the way to go, baby. And I was like, there are some people that are fat and overweight, and just because you go to the store and buy something that says vegan on it does not mean it's healthy. She goes, ha, who told you that? Just look at the freaking package. It'll say like 32. It'll say like 1,200 milligrams of salt. And I'm like, God, that's a lot of salt, baby. And I had a friend once that was a vegan, and I tried the food. Her mom made vegan pizza with like vegan sausage and whatever else on it. I literally got sick and threw it up. And that's bad when you're at someone's house spending the week with them, and you go, and they're like, what was that? Why'd you throw up? Are you sick? And I didn't realize it was the fucking pizza. It was the food. And the reason how I know that's what it was, I ended up, they gave me a to-go box because they lived in Philadelphia and I'm in Florida. So I was getting on the plane to head home. And when I was in the airport, I opened up the pizza. I was like, yeah, I'll have some pizza when I get on the plane or when I'm in the airport waiting for the plane. And this is like 2010. This ain't COVID 2019. This ain't COVID-19 flying on a plane. Wackos thinking, oh, my God, you're still flying out there. Shut your mouth, punk. The thing is, I was trying to open the pizza up, and I was like, and there are people like, what are you doing? I'm like, it's this pizza. And they're like, what is it? I'm like, it's vegan. They're like, what? And remember, guys, this is 2010. Not many people were talking about being a vegan in 2010. Nowadays, people are like, I'm a vegan. They talk about it like it's a religion. It's the same people that talk about being a CrossFitter. I'm a CrossFitter. I bench press truckloads of weight. I do 7,000 pull-ups. It's like, I don't give a damn what you do, baby. I'm not going to the gym saying I'm a bodybuilder. I'm a cardio expert. I just go and work out. I don't need to tell people on Instagram and on Twitter and everything, I'm an Instagrammer. I don't need to say that. I don't need to say I'm a CrossFitter or I'm a vegan. And then there's those people, I'm a vegan CrossFitter. I'm ripped for days. It's like, I don't give a damn if you're on steroids. I don't need to know about your stupid diet. Any diet will work as long as you're consistent. Let's get back to some more Joey Diaz.
And me and my little buddies were like, what, the 7th grade? People started running to the windows, right, to swing down the bus windows. But here's what gets better. I farted again. And the teachers were going, oh, my God, he's changing flavors. But the worst thing was the cheerleaders were crying. That's how bad it smelled. They were sitting in front of the bus going,
Wait a minute, he's changing flavors.
One of the teachers yelled out, oh my God, he's changing flavors. That's how bad these farts were.
That's your next t-shirt. Oh my God, he's changing flavors.
The whole bus stunk. So I'll never forget looking at the cheerleaders and they were like, oh my God, we've never smelled like this before. It was fucking god awful.
I wrote a blog about one of Joey's farts once.
Was that on a plane?
Yes.
I think I read that.
It's called Happy Pills. And it was, I was thinking about, I was looking at this ad. Here, take this. I was looking at this ad for antidepressants.
Oh my God.
You know, it's some girl dancing around a field of wheat and shit. You know those ads.
Yeah.
And
I'm good.
I was just thinking about like what, you know, what depresses people and how crazy pills are and how crazy. Oh, it's still up there. You can still find it. And anyway, at the end of this is a really like me. We're both of us are barbecued. I don't know what the fuck. What do we eat? Edibles? Some sort of edibles?
It was in the beginning. Lollipops.
Yeah.
It was way in the beginning.
We were crucified.
And Rogan was asleep.
Yeah.
He was going in and out, but he wrote on the blog, and I don't even have to look at it to remember, that the fart was strong. He's lucky I farted because it was a lot better than the Antonio Banderas movie he was watching. Something to do. There was an Antonio Banderas movie now.
I don't remember what it was.
I don't remember what it was.
But I do remember the lady behind you. I will never forget hearing her over the earphones.
Yeah.
I hear, oh my God! There it is. Over the pounding sound in my iPod, I hear a woman in the row behind us cry out, oh my God! I look over at Joey and he smiles. There's your fucking happy pill right there.
And you're right, Antonio Banderas, it says right
Told
there.
you.
Oh, what was it?
Some
My
bad
iPod is,
movie.
oh, yeah.
Teaching underprivileged youth how to salsa.
Oh, that's what I was watching. I was watching a terrible movie.
Terrible. We both were.
And Joey farted the fart of all farts.
Oh, man. Do you remember,
Where
by
it
the
pissed
way?
you off the seat? You ever have those farts on the plane where you actually feel your leg? It's like you're in one of those chairs. When you're in a plane and it's going to go down, what's the button you push to throw you off the
ejector
plane?
seat?
That's
Oh, yeah.
what it was. It like injected me a little bit.
He digs his seatbelt into your waist.
Oh my God, it was terrible. But another time I fought. I used to take the #1 bus from Jersey City to North Bergen to the high school, and we were on the bus one morning, kids, and there was a guy reading a paper. I could live to be 100 and never forget this. Reading the Daily News, and he had a connector of drool from his lip to the Daily News, and there was a puddle. He was on heroin. They would go to Jersey City those days and get methadone. So they would take the bus up north with us. So I'm sitting there. He's passed the fuck out. And the drool is connected to the Daily News, and there's got to be just 6 inches of puddle. This guy's been passed out for 20 minutes. I point my ass at him. I'm not sitting behind him. I'm sitting across from him.
Yeah.
And I lift up my hips a little bit. And I kept my asshole just pointing at him. That even if it wasn't pointed at him, it would ricochet off the chair and go straight into his mouth like one of those things. He's sitting there, and I let a fart go out. I could live to be 80. He lifted his eyes like this first, right? Like he went like this first, like, and he wiped his mouth. And he's like, man, who the fuck farted? He goes, it smelled like someone went up somebody's ass and died. And me and my little buddies were like, what, the seventh grade? Because you're getting paid, bitch. If I want to live in a fucking cell, I'll live in a fucking cell like a monkey. I'm going to live with a fold-up bed like I'm James Bond, like some fucking Puerto Rican that gets a check on the 5th. Go fuck your mother. If you're getting paid, you live in a fucking house. I'm going to live in a micro fucking house with a little kitchen to cook like I got a black guy banging me in the fucking ass. I don't need that. You spread out. Even me, I'm no millionaire. I got a big fucking kitchen, a micro house. What are you fucking people talking about? I just snapped out of it, dog. You can't take me into those deep waters like that. This fucking, the Eureka fucking killed the brother right now. A fucking house with a bed upside down? No. Fuck that shit.
That's not what I'm talking about.
To save energy. Fuck you. You get paid, you fucking live like a normal person. Go to Trump and say, hey, wig, move into a fucking thing to save energy. See if you don't dick slap you. If you don't have a Russian bitch slapping you in the fucking mouth.
You're
What are you
fired.
talking about? The fuck are these people micro houses in the fucking desert? You play it out to the world ends like a doctor. Like a doctor, you live your fucking life. You're right. Doomsday. I'm going to put a can of tomato soup under my stairs to wait for the Martians to come. When it's over, it's over. You go out there with your dick out and you take your fucking chances like a man. I'm going to live like I fucking owe $20 to a bookmaker downstairs in my house. Get the fuck out of my face.
I want to live in one of those, the Airstream ones.
Brian's down, Joey's not. I think we have a real clear line in the
Fuck
sand
that
here,
shit.
people.
Like I said, Joey Diaz talks about the most craziest stuff on the planet. Who can relate to this stuff? It's just so outrageous. It's just so funny. It's like when you hear it, you're like, ha ha, ha ha ha. Ha ha, we back, baby. Like I told you, you cannot relate to nothing. You can't relate to anything he's ever said. Joey Diaz says the most random, craziest things you ever heard, but you can't relate to it. Even Mickey Gold, UFC fighter, was on the podcast one time. He goes, Joey, he's like, you know, most people you can relate to, but when it comes to Coco, you can't relate to nothing. You can't relate to anything he's ever said. You can't relate to the time Joey got hit in the head with the lunchbox. You can't relate to the time when Joey farted on a bus and the whole bus was like, oh my god, it's changing flavors. You can't relate to that. Or you can't relate to the fact that Joey Diaz ranted. His most famous rant is the rant he did about ranch dressing. And nobody knows about that kind of stuff. Like most people that I know personally that I'll share like a Joey Diaz rant to, they go, haha, that's funny. How come I never heard of him? I'm like, Joey Diaz is probably like the most famous underground comedian. Like he's so famous that people don't even know him. It's like the Insane Clown Posse. So many people know them, but a lot of people don't. And the people that do know them, they know them as like one of the biggest rap groups of all time. But when it comes to a lot of people that are outside the like juggalo lifestyle, they have no idea who they are. Like I watch these YouTubers who do these reaction videos, right? And most of the time, guess what? Most of the time, ladies and gentlemen, these people have no clue who these people are. I'm talking about no clue whatsoever. Like they could not tell you who they are. Like you literally watch these reaction videos and you think people know rap music or whatever, and they'll go taking a swig right there for all your hardworking people out there, and they'll be like, I never heard this kind of genre of music before. What is it? And it is they call it horrorcore because ICP always talked about like crazy stuff like killing people and like putting people in like trash bags and doing some crazy stuff. It's like a horror movie but in a rap song. And a lot of these people really get into it. But it's like Shaggy and Violent J has said, if you do not know like the lifestyle, then you probably don't know anything about it. He goes, it's the same thing with Christian rock and metal music. If you're not a part of that lifestyle, most people don't even know it exists. Most people don't even know there is such thing as Christian death metal or Christian speed thrash or Christian like grindcore. There's a lot of that. There's a big subgenre of metal music that is dedicated just to like Christian thinking and Christian speaking. Like bands like Demon Hunter, POD, Mortification, if you really think of that, Paramecium. All these bands at one point or another have released religious based albums, and most people are like, wow, really? Yeah. That's like when it comes to Joey Diaz, his stories are so crazy. If you don't really listen to Joey Diaz on a regular basis, you just don't understand his humor, because his humor can be dark humor. Joey Diaz is the type of guy that shows up to the party and everybody is captivated by his appearance. He just talks and tells stories. He doesn't care. He doesn't care if he's talking about beating up a pedophile in the park like he did when he was younger, or smoking weed, or he even admits that he used to do cocaine. He was a cokehead. He would take bumps of coke all the time, and he said his podcast was kind of a therapy session for himself to talk about the things that happened in his life, but also to show people out there that are in drugs, that are in rehab or in and out of the prison system, that, hey, you can make something of yourself. I'm a proven fact that I was a drug addict, a thief, and I became one of the baddest comedians of all time. And on the last podcast I listened to, I think it was number 812 or 814, he said in the last 10 years, he's always been in the top 40 podcasts in the world. And that's amazing to be the top 40. I'm talking, you got like the Joe Rogan podcast, you got so many amazing podcasts out there, but he's always been in the top 40. That is a good accomplishment. That's saying you're better than most people. You're better than most people, because most people might not even hit the top 100. And he said on iTunes and Spotify and all the platforms, I've always been around number 40. And I'm like, that's still a big accomplishment. He still gets like, what, 50, 60,000 views on his YouTube page for his podcast, but it is what it is. Like he said, he's taking a break or possibly never doing it again. But like I said, I wanted to share some of my favorite rants with you guys and make you guys laugh and giggle for a little bit, because that's what Joey Diaz is all about. The funness, the excitingness, and just having a great time. And that's what Joey is all about. Joey is the kind of guy that you listen to and you're just like captivated by his personality, and you're just captivated by the stories of how you talking about this. And he's like, what? It's what normally happens. I've done this. And I love when Joey Diaz gets emotional. Like, he just starts ranting, like, real loud. Who gets real loud, and, you cocksucker, this, and I was like, where are you now, you cock? I'm like, damn, he just goes off. But that's just Joey Diaz and Joey Diaz's way of communicating, right? And I believe the best podcast I've ever heard was Joey Diaz in the early days when he used to podcast with Joe Rogan. Like, him and Joe Rogan, when they podcast together, it's like two dudes at the bar having a cocktail, just shooting the shit. Because you could tell they're not just Hollywood buddies. They're real friends that really enjoy each other's company. They really are cool with each other. And that's one thing I really like about Joey Diaz when he podcasts with Rogan. They are true friends. It's not just like, yeah, we're just Hollywood buddies. We see each other at the nightclub when we do our comedy gig. No, you could tell they're really real friends. It's like him, Brian Redband, and Joey Diaz are all, when they all do the podcast together, it's all fun and excitement, baby. But yeah, like I said, I just wanted to share that with you guys and say, if the podcast does go away, it's going to be a podcast that I do miss, and I will be going back and probably listen to like the early days, because I haven't heard the very, 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 very first couple episodes. I started listening to the podcast probably like 2015, 2016 or something. And this is when they were live streaming on YouTube every single time. And now they just throw up episodes. But with that being said, guys, I gotta go. I gotta run. Hit the outro music, and we'll see you guys in another Raw Talk podcast. Thanks for watching.